Hello, hunting family and outdoor enthusiasts. I'm thrilled to be your guide on this exciting journey as we kick off another captivating episode of Tracks and Tackle. Welcome to part 1 of our Drive Home Diaries, where we're taking you along for the ride back from an unforgettable weekend at hunting camp. In this episode, get ready for a full recap of our hunting camp adventure, from the highs of camaraderie to the lows of dealing with those stubborn trail cameras that just wouldn't cooperate. We'll be diving into a world of cinema and famous quotes from Western movies, channeling our inner cowboys as we explore some timeless lines that have left their mark on the big screen. But that's not all. Stay tuned as we navigate through diverse territories, sharing our thoughts on golf, the thrill of hunting competition, and the art of wilderness survival. And of course, we're not holding back on the stories. Get ready for some tales from the wild hunt from last year where we traversed untamed wilderness in search of adventure and game. So whether you're a seasoned outdoorsman or simply someone who loves a good story, join us as we relive the moments, the memories, and the musings that make the journey as remarkable as the destination. Alright, we are recording. I'm just going to put that on and let her go.
Yeah, see if we can find any critters on our way down the mountain and get all excited about it.
It's been a good weekend at camp.
I thought we got a lot done. Got the cabin fixed, got our trail cameras checked. I know there's a little dilemma with that, but maybe when we get home you can check that out and get it fixed. And then got the firewood chopped and, just hung out and made memories.
Yeah, I did ride up. The audio on the recording wasn't that great. I don't know if that'll be used or not. But we got up to camp just before dark, had a little bit of a meal, settled in, unpacked everything, and then it was light enough we could shoot our bows a little bit, but there was a storm moving in, so we shot our bows, sighted them in, had a good time doing that, got a little bit of video content there, and then it rained on us, so shifted indoors for the evening. But yesterday was a good, long, hard day of working. I think I'm a little disappointed. Maybe my expectations are just too high, but we got
the camera.
Well, the camera, doing some scouting. We had a trail camera that is not connecting. So, if you're listening out there, we run a couple different flavors of trail cameras up here, trying to find the ones that we like. And I don't know if it's the make and model, or if it's our location and signal, but we got a spy point that just will not connect and stay connected to send us our pictures.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, I played with it numerous times. Last year it worked great, and then you were playing with it. I swear it's that battery pack doesn't want to stay locked in. We agree to disagree. You think it's something else.
Yeah, I beg to differ. I think it's signal strength, but we don't have issues with the signal on the Tacticam Pro model, so anyway, we'll play with that. If you guys listening have any preferences or comments on using spy point or a different model trail cam, you can always hit us up at menseroutdoors@gmail.com. That's Menser with a TZ, MENTZER, outdoors @gmail.com, and we love to check the mailbag and hear from listeners. So a little bit disappointed in we've got some deer on camera, but the locations where that camera was and another one that wasn't taking good pictures for us. I'd like to see a little bit more deer movement than what we have seen, but I am overall satisfied with the deer movement that we've captured. on trail cam pics. But, you know, we got some work done around the camp, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done. We need to do some renovations on our cabin that we have had for many decades, been in the family, and it's just time to do some renos. So I'd like to do that earlier in the year. Once you start getting to this time of year, my brain switches gears. I'm ready for archery season. So.
But yeah, it can be frustrating. I know I was very frustrated. Almost frustrated at you, telling me, it's something else, but in the end of it, it's just, the camera's not working, and we're both upset that, we don't have any pictures or any content to get excited about. But one thing that, as we were walking the terrain at the top of the mountain that got us excited was our cover crop started to grow through, and there's some patches where the work that we did end of May is paying off, and hopefully, it brings more critters in, and we can get excited about that.
Yeah, you always got to see the positives. Anytime you go outdoors, there is the anticipation of hunting season is a big part of it, but we always talk about the overall theme of just getting outside and enjoying nature. So, I know we got cooked up some nice meals, eating out at the picnic table, fighting off mosquitoes. With every positive, there's a negative, right?
Yep.
Being outside, you got to deal with the bugs in the summertime and whatnot. But I'd rather be sitting at the picnic table out in the woods, having a feast, a hunter's feast, versus sitting inside.
Not a cell phone in sight.
Yeah. So it's been a good weekend overall. We're actually driving down off the mountain that we hunt right now, and so we're just going to leave this sucker record, and we'll enjoy our journey home.
Where's the deer at?
We're going to have to get you to watch Tombstone, so I don't know if you want to look that one up on your own, or it's probably better to watch it together.
Man, we're still in the mountain. I don't got service. We gotta wait till we get 15 minutes or 15 miles down the road. There's Tombstone I gotta watch, and Paul Bunyan. Whatever, is it just called Paul Bunyan? What's the movie called? I gotta learn about Paul Bunyan and Blue, as we talked earlier.
Talking about American folklore, I think Disney made a cartoon, like a 20-minute version, telling the story of Paul Bunyan back in the 50s. So you can YouTube that, and if you really want to catch up on your American folklore, they got one for John Henry too. But you can find those on YouTube. Wyatt Earp, there's a ton of movies made about Wyatt Earp.
That's the one I gotta catch up. I don't know much about westerns, but each time I come up here, the Grit Channel, you always learn a new lesson. Like, if you want your steak rare, just put a candle under it.
You get some very good catchphrases from them older movies. And then we lock onto those catchphrases and recycle them, especially at hunting camp.
I got the right side covered if you cover the left.
Yeah, I'm looking up the hill. You look down the hill. What time of day it is right now? It's mid-morning.
Definitely a lot of green stuff around.
It's nice. It's like 66 degrees. Plenty of greenery, a lot of food.
If I were a deer, I'd be just galloping around, grinning ear to ear.
Just walking around munching on clover, right?
What's that when people like odd sounds? Is it ASMR? Is that the abbreviations?
Yes.
We could have that going for us driving down the mountain. Alright, I'll get the gate. What the heck, man?
Dirtbag moved. He locked at the gate. Told us he was going to leave the gate open, but then he ended up locking it, so I need to get the keys out. Classic misdirection.
What a saddle trash move.
Saddle trash.
He asked us how much longer we're staying, and we said, I don't know, maybe an hour. It's probably been, 15 minutes since they left. And he's like, all right, I'll leave it open for you. But maybe when we said an hour, he's like, I don't know, maybe someone might make a break for it and come up.
He made a unilateral decision to deviate from the plan.
Just did not inform us.
Some people don't understand authority or their orders.
Fall in lines.
At least we have a key. I know. Came up here in turkey season. I drove the whole way to a couple-hour drive just to get to the base of the mountain where we have our logging roads gated off. I realized I didn't have the key to the gate or the cabin.
How many breaks did you take up on the way up? Because I don't know, going up to the top where our stand's at, I used to, when I was younger and more springy, I used to make it up in one shot. Now I take 2 or 3 breaks. I can't imagine how many you took making that haul.
Yeah, it was springtime, so it wasn't too hot, but it was plenty hot hiking up that mountain. But I hunted my way up the mountain, so I took plenty of stops, leaving out some turkey yelps, trying to locate birds for a hunt in the morning. So it was an enjoyable walk more than a hike up the hill. But you know me, it doesn't take much to get me perspiring.
I like that. It turned a bad situation into good. You weren't, doing the walk of shame. You were strategically hunting your way through.
That's what you do, man. You make the most of every situation, and just happy to not be in the office and being outside. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right?
Yeah. Did we bring our rods? We might get in trouble if we go down there.
Yeah, I don't think that neighbor wants us fishing out of his pond. It doesn't look like it's...
Beware the dog.
It doesn't look like it's holding much either. It's not a very big watering hole. But you never know. You never know what lurks in the muddy water.
You just gotta put your line in the water.
If the fish are hungry, they'll bite.
Alright, no deer coming down the mountain. We got one little 300 yards of driveway left. If they want to come out, they'll come out.
Just think of all the ticks that are in that tall grass.
Good thing we got the tick spray. But yeah, it won't take long for it to heat up getting off the mountain.
Well,
all the shade and the breeze up there.
66 degrees right now. I'll say the time of day we're leaving, we're going to have half a day to do whatever we need to when we get home.
Yeah, I don't know. I always struggle with even cabin trips or hunting trips or road trips. Sunday I'll leave early to come back home, but I'm just so tired and lazy. It's tough work. So I end up just kind of resting, making my Sunday my lazy day versus being productive. Check this field to your left. Ain't nothing shaking but the leaves on the trees.
It's a ghost field this time of day. Everything's bedded down. It's a little warm out.
I don't know why, but talking to some of my clientele, been real hungry for salmon of late. I don't really cook salmon.
I was going to say, you make your own, or you want to buy
I'll probably go to the butcher shop, but I don't know. I'll maybe look up a recipe for the Blackstone or the smoker, but I don't know. It's just been calling out to me. This one lady was telling me, believe it or not, she gets her salmon from Aldi's, and she said don't knock it, but they have really good salmon. But I don't know. I think I'd rather shop local than. You don't know what's been in Aldi's and how long it's been on the shelf.
Seafood you want fresh.
Yeah.
My rule of thumb is if there's not an in-house butcher, I'm not buying my meat there.
I'm not doing it.
That's sort of a rule of thumb, but I actually prefer to buy our meat or as much of it from the farm.
Yeah.
Or harvest it ourselves, field to table. That road's nice now that they've just blacktopped it.
But yeah, the town's so small and our cabin really doesn't technically have an address, so I have it pretty down now, but when I come up I just put in the local post office.
It gets you close enough.
That's all the town has is a post office. There's no bank. There's no pizza shop.
That's the only reason the town's got its own name is because there's a post office. It's got its own postal code.
But once I get to the post office, I know where I'm going.
We should go golfing soon.
It's been a while.
It's been, once it gets too hot out, I don't feel like spending the money to go out and sweat all afternoon, but
I just know I'm not going to Mayapple. That place still
they got the thick
stresses me out.
They got the thick rough. It's actually it's not a bad course, but if you're not playing fairway golf,
in my books it is.
You will lose balls. So I mean, you can hit something 6 feet off the fairway, but it'll get buried in that rough, and you can lose a ball real quick there. So
I think I realized with golf is I don't golf enough to become good. So I just learned I'd go out and have fun and enjoy it versus, stressing over my score. I'd like to crack 100 at some point, but I'm nowhere close for that right now. I thought I was getting closer, but then the next time I went out was at Mayapple, and I was having meltdowns. And I don't have meltdowns.
It's a game where you love to get frustrated. You'll golf so bad if you're playing 18 holes. 17 holes, you'll stink. And then on the last hole, you'll hit the ball just right and have a good shot, and you'll be like, man, I think I can do it. And it keeps you coming back.
Yeah, I used to have that, but I don't know, as I'm starting to pressure my score and put pressure on myself, those moments, the ones where you hit that perfect drive or, that nice putt to get you a birdie or a par, I'm losing interest in those moments because I'm so focused on the big picture. But I don't know, I think I just learned to accept that I'm not going to be no Tiger Woods, and just to go out and each time enjoy it rather than stressing about score.
Those guys on tour, man, they're incredible. It's amazing what they can do, how they can make a ball move, and how they can place it right where it needs to go. And even they struggle. It's consistency, right? You don't always hit the ball exactly the same, but they practice like it's their life. Just like somebody who plays piano or plays guitar, or any instrument. The only way to get to be the best, you gotta practice more than everyone else.
So random thought, because I thought, competition. I know Bass Pro sponsors a big fishing competition to see who can catch the most fish and the heaviest fish, and they give out big prizes, but there's not really anything that I know of that's like that for hunting. I know across the state there's the big coyote hunt, which is where the biggest male and the biggest female coyote gets $20,000. But besides that, I don't know. You would think for the pros they would have some sort of competition. I'm sure maybe there is, but it's not as well publicized.
I don't know in the state here what's available, but there are a lot of, it's kind of like fishing rodeos down home. You get the gun club that'll sponsor a fishing rodeo or stock trout or things like that. You get some private organizations that will put out certain competitive hunts. The thing is, like a nationwide contest or something like that, you got a wide diversity of the bucks in Texas versus bucks in Illinois versus a Kansas whitetail. America is just so diverse in our geography.
Yeah, but you think Bass Pro, they probably bring, I don't know, maybe 30 teams and put them on a big lake, and they got day one and day two, and then they score them, they weigh the fish. But there's not really anything like that hunting, all right, we're going to bring you 10 of America's finest hunters, which it's going to be tough to define, but start as an open invite. But 10 of the best hunters, and here's 10,000 acres where you can hunt from.
They've got a TV show. I've not seen it, but I've seen it advertised where they do that. Somebody's doing that.
Because
you have to be selected to, it's like casting. You have to be selected. But I think I sent you something on that once saying we should do that. But I don't know that I'd be able to put the time in to quit your job for a couple of months to, hunt for a living.
It's like that show Alone, they put them on an island with 10 other people or so.
Outlast, yeah.
Who can survive in the wild the longest.
That was a cool show. I've watched like all those seasons after the fact. Like I went back and like binge watched it.
Yeah.
And binge watch it. I don't recommend binge watching Alone because it's a slow program. It's you gotta love the outdoors to sit and watch it for an hour, but to sit and watch like 3 or 4 hours of it when you have time to sit and just binge watch it, it's really a slow watch. But I have a great appreciation for everyone's outdoor skills that were on that show. A lot of those guys and gals do stuff that is beyond my ability. I'd imagine I wouldn't want to have to survive. That show is basically till it came down to the end, because you're trying to outlast. How long can you stay out in the wild on your own without support? It was like, who can starve the longest? And for me, like, that's not my game, man. Like, I like to eat. I love the outdoors, but like, I'm not looking to starve. So,
all right, let me ask you this. Let's just say we turn this truck around. I hop in the driver's seat and drop you off at camp.
All right.
I think in the cabin we just have the 9 Mountain Dews that we left for archery.
We got 9 Mountain Dews, no water, nothing. Yeah.
I don't know if we left any canned goods there or not this trip. But all right, there's just 9 Mountain Dews, and I just drop you off and I leave. I don't say anything. I leave. I don't tell anybody. I take your phone. How long can you stay up there, and how long can you survive if you have to stay on the property?
Well, the question is, like,
you can keep your bow.
All right. So do I have any type of weaponry?
Just bow and arrow.
And if in that situation, I do have, like, we got silverware, utensils. I got knives and things. Even if it's a kitchen knife, I've got a blade, right? So there is fresh water source up there. So first thing you do in a survival situation is secure shelter or water, right? Those are like the first 2 things you're always going to do. I've got shelter and I've got water, so then it's securing a food source. So we know that there's wild game. We got big game and we got small game. So we've got whitetail and we've got squirrel, we've got turkey. I think I could probably do pretty good as far as surviving. The being alone part, like, that's what messes with your head a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I'd probably get bored of being, because I could spend time by myself. I'm not like a big people person. Get along with people just great, but I like a little bit introverted in a way where I recharge by just getting alone. And so I think I could do that for a week or 2. But I think, after a week or 2, I'd probably want some sort of contact with another person.
Yeah. I feel like
conversation, whatever it might be.
That'd be the biggest thing that'd get me too. I'd feel like probably a month would be my tops. Like, I feel like I could harvest a deer. The squirrel and the chipmunk, that would be really tough for me, because I would struggle to, make a trap that would work. I'm sure I could build some stuff that I think would go great, but when it comes down
proof's
to
in the pudding, right?
executing, I don't think it would. But I feel like I could harvest a deer, and then that would last me, 2-3 weeks, and then probably boredom would overtake me.
Well, if you got yourself a whitetail and you had nothing but time, I think of the native people and the indigenous people, and they didn't waste a lick of what they would harvest, right? So how do you repurpose the bones? How do you make tools? How do you use the fur of the animal and tan that?
We should figure out how to do that this year. Tanning some hide.
Well, it takes time.
I've tried in years past. I used salt. They say
you want to borax it, you want to stretch it out, you want to flesh it really good.
They say every animal has enough of its brains to tan its hide.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know the research beyond that. I'll have to look it up when I get home, but yeah, I guess their brains you take out, you make a smoothie, and you just kind of paint it on. They say that should be enough for it. But I don't know, I gotta do more research, and I've tried in the past, and it just hasn't turned out well.
Well, that's like a time laborious thing. I mean, there are people that out there that do it to this day and do a really good job at it, but you gotta have the time to do it. And it's just like anything else. When you start something for the first time, you know, it's just like us posting content on social media or me making videos. You know, the first ones probably are never the greatest.
Yeah.
You get better through repetition and doing it over and over again. So if it's something you're interested in doing, I was gonna take that fur from that coyote you shot last year and tan that for you, but you shot it right in the head. So
yeah.
There wasn't much of a head left on it. I guess we still could have taken the body, but
I think it
wouldn't have been as cool of a gift to give back to you. But
it would have been a here I tried.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, if we take one, I mean, that would be cool. Start with something a little bit smaller, like a yote pelt.
Yeah. But I think it was okay. There was a big hole in it, but I think what did it in was dragging it with the rope along with your Sheila. So I think that made things a lot worse for how the hide was.
Yeah, last year hunting season, when we got into the pile of doe, and we did all that shooting. We did a lot of shooting, but only harvested 2 doe, and the coyote was taken earlier in the day. But for all the shooting we're doing, I remember you said, we're going to get in trouble back at camp because we don't have as many deer shots fired, right?
Yeah.
But we're hunting the big woods. It's not wide open. These deer aren't standing still. Just, you know, we're not sitting in a shooting shack hunting from a hunting blind or anything like that. We're just boots on the ground, out in the forest, sitting behind a tree, laying, you know, sideways, a downed tree. You know, hunkered in behind that for a little bit of camouflage, and we had, I don't know, there were 6 or 8 doe in line.
Sounds about right.
We were hunting for a couple of days and hadn't seen any deer. Well, that's because they were all grouped up together, and once they came across our path, we let them have it.
But yeah, I learned a valuable lesson. I mean, I don't know. I drilled the coyote, but the deer and all that I was missing, and I had an experience back at home where I was able to actually prop the gun up and pulled the trigger, and it didn't drop. I completely missed, so I'm pretty bad at it. I learned my lesson. I'm not doing it anymore, but I typically don't shoot my rifle in before deer season. So when I went and shot it in, it was shooting 6 inches high at 100 yards. So made some adjustments, and then my latest time out, I drilled one, but so it was shooting high. But yeah, man, I just remember we got into that herd, and you know, you were kneeling, I was getting some shots, and then we all had to reload.
I jammed, my gun jammed. These deer, they went over the ridge, right? So
I ran after them over top the ridge. They went on the other side of the mountain, and I'm like half yelling at you, like, dude, get over here. They're walking, because the rocks that we struggle to, you know, hike up on, it's the same for them too, especially if they have to run. So they were just trotting, taking their time, even with the gunshots. So I was yelling at you for some support, because I think I was getting pissed off because I wasn't hitting them. So I was like, hey man,
and you're not a bad shot.
Get some help.
Yeah, you're a good shot, definitely. It was interesting. So anyway, long story short is, you know, we took out 2 doe, and if your dad wouldn't have come up to bring us something to drink while we were cleaning up the mess, he would have never believed that out of the 3 animals we shot that morning, or in that day hunting, 2 of them were headshots. You'd think it'd be just us storytelling.
Yeah, I made it down the camp, and everyone on our side of the mountain was there to witness everything, because I guess the rumor was there was a really nice rack buck that's been heading down. Maybe he's heading towards those does, and we were just impatient.
Should have waited, right?
But everybody and their grandmother were there, just waiting to see this buck, and they were surprised, just to see these two doe and a coyote.
Well, think about it, right? It was quiet. The hunting the day before, there weren't a whole lot of shots. There were a bunch of hunters in the vicinity on the neighboring properties because it's the opening day, and maybe one or two gunshots on the first day. But the day two, when we ran into that pile of deer, what do you say? Like, if you have 4 shells to a clip, 1 in the chamber, it's 5 shells per round. We probably each went through 2 clips, trying to hit these deer on the run.
And
so from somebody that was in another part of the property, from going from hearing like 1 or 2 shots all day to hearing 10 to 12 shots at a minimum, they thought they were interested. People were coming to check out what was going on. So, and this is the stuff this is how legends truly are made, because even when you tell them what happened, they don't believe you're telling them the whole story.
Yep. But it could be too that it was up towards Lon's stand, and Lon's known for being a sure shot. So what the hell? This guy took 20 shots.
Yeah.
It must be a big one.
Yeah, he usually hunts that quadrant, and he doesn't miss very often. Ever, if you ask him, he'll tell you he doesn't miss. But he is a pretty good shot.
Mighty hunter.
Yeah, great hunter. In the famous words of Robert Redford, great hunter. That wraps up another thrilling episode of Tracks and Tackle, a podcast brought to you by Menser Outdoors. We hope you enjoyed this journey into the world of hunting, fishing, and the great outdoors as much as we did. And if you're as passionate about these adventures as we are, be sure to connect with us on our social media pages. You can find us on YouTube and Rumble at Menser Outdoors, Instagram at Menser Outdoors, and you can also find us on Instagram at Tracks and Tackle. If you have any questions, stories, or topics you'd like us to cover in our mailbag segment on future shows, don't hesitate to drop us an email at menseroutdoors@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you and share your experiences with our fantastic community. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. Until next time, stay true to your passion, keep exploring, and remember, every adventure is a chance to create memories that will last a lifetime.